be sharp as a fight. Alan steady with the facts, sharp and true. Fuji's fire breaks the calm, splits it in two. Pattison Ave, where the wild hearts run. Talking sports, games, battles, lost and won. Voices rise, break chains, ignite the flame. Fanatic thunder echoing the name.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. I'm your host, Tom Kelly. With me, as always, Alan Kracz.
What is going on, gentlemen? Glad to be here. Playoffs, fucking playoffs tonight, babe.
Mike Fuji in the building.
Playoffs. The starters should have played the first half. Fire your comments and argue with me. Seth Joyner even came out and said it. You blew up that goddamn second seed. Don't get me started.
Good. I'll go back and forth with you. And special guest on the show tonight, one of our great hosts here at Cole County Entertainment, Ryan Neff, the Ginch, joins us. Ryan, what's going on, brother?
Yes, sir. The playoffs are set. Yesterday's result pleased me more than you'll ever know. That's why I'm here, to give my expertise on said games yesterday, especially the one that Fuji's talking about.
Nobody asked you for your expertise.
Oh, well, actually, I did. Thank you very much. I asked if Ryan would jump on with us tonight.
Yeah, but I was going to ask him now that his Chiefs and his Cowboys are sitting at home on the couch next to each other. What ring chasing team you going to ride with?
Just the Chiefs there. Just the Chiefs there.
I don't pull any punches. I'm from Philly. I don't give a rat's.
I got nervous. I had the eject button going there when you said Dallas. I got nervous there. All right, let's jump right in. First off, real quick, let me say something. Alan Kracz, thank you for always doing the promos for the shows anymore. You took over, and I really appreciate that. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but thank you for doing that, man.
No worries, brother. No worries, man.
I appreciate it. I'm sure people are sick and tired of seeing my face and hearing my nonsense, so I appreciate you.
Right. We'll swing it around, you know what I mean? When they get tired of it, we'll swing it back.
Perfect. That license plate number.
And a truck to run over your face.
Yeah, are we live? Because I'm on YouTube and I don't see it.
Yes. Yeah, we're live. We're live. We've been live for 3 minutes. I don't know. Why are you watching yourself while you're supposed to be on the show?
There's a few people.
Got to make sure the lighting's correct. Make sure he's looking good.
Kiss my ass.
All right. Look. There's an elephant in this room for sure, and that is your views on sitting starters. I saw Alan came right out in our group, and said it. Mike said it. Right here in the intro, in the opening. What are everyone's thoughts with sitting starters week 18? Fuji, I'm going to start with you since you were very passionate about it.
Well, it's ridiculous because you had a chance to just play this. I mean, Devontae Smith got his 1,000 yards. Congratulations to him. But, you had guys out there. You had Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith. Look at Reed Blankenship. He wanted to run out and play, but one of the coaches told him not to. And
on the goal line there, they threw Jordan Davis in cold. I don't think he had been in the entire game. They threw him in there.
The Lions gave the Eagles a gift on a silver friggin' platter. And you could have, you could have been the second seed. You could have wiped the field up with the Packers, and then you would have had another home game. Just like last year, Washington went into Detroit, smacked the shit out of them. Luckily, we got the NFC Championship in Philly. We could have been sitting pretty. Hopefully the Packers can win. And to me, Carolina don't have a prayer to save their ass.
So, last year, Week 18, the Eagles sat their starters, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. So what is the difference between them sitting now? Was it because they had everything already all locked up? Is that the big is that the big difference that everybody's looking at compared between the two seasons?
That's how I'm looking at it, man. You had your own destiny in your own hands. You win, and you're not worried about the Lions, but you need to win because you need to win. Unless they're happy being in that third spot, I mean, I wouldn't be. If I'm an NFL team and I can go against a possibly weaker opponent in the Packers than the Niners, then I'm going to make sure I win that football game. And if the Lions end up winning, good. But I'm going to make sure I do my part to make sure I've done everything I can to take control of my future. Basically.
Now I'm gonna pose this question to Ryan too, because he has no skin in the game per se when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. He's not an Eagles fan. However, real quick, what if one of your key players goes down and we lose him for the rest of the season? Now, what are your now is everyone that's on Nick Sirianni for not playing the starters? Would they then be on Nick Sirianni if one or let's say two of your start? Let's say something, Hurts gets a concussion and he's not ready for next week's game. There's a risk reward there for sure. And is the number 2 seed worth losing potentially multiple starters going into the playoffs?
It just basically tells me that Eagles fans are worried about the 49ers and not worried about the Packers. That's what it tells me, that most Eagles fans would have preferred playing the Packers, but they're worried about the 49ers. There's probably nothing to be worried about at home with that defense. It's a double-edged sword. Most of the other playoff teams that were in contention played their starters. I get it.
Thank you.
But let's say Hurts gets hurt. A.J. Brown gets hurt. What's the narrative going to be this morning? Why the hell did he play the starters? So it's a double-edged sword. I can see both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
But Sirianni's obviously thought what he was doing best was for the team by resting the guys. So there's no reason to be worried about the 49ers if you're confident about your team going into the playoffs.
See, I'm confident about the defense. And the teams that the 49ers have lost to have had D-line, very impressive D-line play. So our defensive line and our cornerbacks, DBs, our defense has the upper hand on the Niners offense. I'm more worried about our offense.
Yeah, absolutely. My buddy Mike Jackson checking in, fellas. The play calls are horrible, Mike. Yeah. I don't disagree with that for sure. It's there. There was no real difference with Tanner McKee starting as opposed to, there just seems to be a disconnect. And Ryan, to your point, I am as big an Eagles fan as you will ever find, but I'm also real. And with the way they're playing right now, I'd absolutely have like to have seen them going against a backsliding Packers team as opposed to this Niners team. Now, like you said, our defense is formidable, but the holes in our offense, the lack of continuity, I've been saying it all season along the offensive line. They cannot get Saquon Barkley going, which, most people know if you want to set a good, you set up a good ground game for the playoffs. It's tough. It's hard to watch sometimes, the offensive side of the ball. So in that regard, nervous, maybe. I don't know. Ryan, from an outsider looking in, which is, I like the perspective that you come with. Looking at the Eagles, what do you see? What, looking at this team, I won't even compare them to last year, but what do you think this team is missing this year?
They can't run the football. That's where they get themselves in trouble. They can't run the football. Look at all their losses this year. I think there's only one game, I forget which game it was, that they lost the rushing battle and they won. Right. One out of the 6 losses. All the other losses, the other 5 losses, were they didn't win the rushing battle. And I don't know what it is. People say, well, Saquon doesn't look right this year. They used him too much last year. The holes aren't there for him. I don't care. You don't abandon the run game. I'd give it to him 25, 30 times. Even if he only gains 90, 95 yards, you're still keeping the defense honest. And look, people want to come down on Hurts. Whether the criticism's fair or not, I don't know. But Fuji, you've heard me say this. Everybody hears me say it on the shows. In December and January, can't run the football, and you can't stop the run. You ain't making it to February. So,
That's true.
And look, San Francisco's nothing spectacular offensively. They're on the bottom half of rushing. Their passing game is okay. You don't know what you're getting with Brock Purdy. The only player on that team that scares me is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So the Eagles are favored by 3.5. Look, Eagles are at home. It's not like they're going on the road. At home with that defense, with that crowd, until San Francisco can come into Philly and prove they can win in Philly. We all know what happened the last time they came to Philly. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Mike Jackson checking in again. The run game with Tank was a positive. Hopefully, someone took notice to this. I would like to think so too. Why does it seem like there's more of a spark with with Tank back there than with Saquon, or I don't know. Does Tank have something to prove? Saquon doesn't. I don't know.
They should use all three. They don't use all three of them.
They should. They swap Tank and Barkley in. But now we're not talking about how banged up the offensive line is and has been all year. Lane Johnson's missed how many games? Cam Jurgens is all banged up.
Dickerson's knee.
Yeah,
I don't think Dickerson's right yet either. Brian Garrity checking in too. They just stopped running by play call after they score and go up 14-10. There was 3 called run plays the remainder of the game. That's also when the offense stalled. Very true. And Rye, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's whatever the reason is, at this point the reason is irrelevant. The problem is you're not running the ball anywhere near at the level you need to Ryan's point, in December and now January to get yourself to next month.
Yep, absolutely. Even if the run game's not working, you still have to run the ball. Okay? What's Saquon averaging? 3 yards a carry? But if he gets 3 yards every carry, that's 9 yards. Now you're what, 4th and 1? What do we do at 4th and 1?
That they've even backed off of that. They're running variations of that. They're not running the tush push like they used to. And talk around town and talk on sports talk and local sports talk is that they're not having as much success with it, so they're not running it as often. But you're not getting yourself into those 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s
right
as often. So it's an accumulative effect. Of lackluster running leading to playing from, further behind the sticks than you'd like to.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, when you got a 3rd and 12.
Well, to me, this offense has no mojo. I mean, last year, Barkley ran roughshod. You didn't even have to worry about going into the playoffs. The guy was a battering ram and ran over every goddamn defense in the NFL.
When a back of his ilk behind a line that was playing at the level that they were playing last year, but what we're kind of seeing? We're kind of seeing New York Giants Saquon Barkley. You have a line that's playing pedestrian as opposed to the level that they were playing last year, which was superhuman.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Saquon's looking more like the Saquon in New York than the Saquon in Philadelphia last year. And it's making so every once in a while he'll break one off just on sheer talent, as opposed to talent coupled with your offensive line doing their job to the highest level. And it's becoming quite obvious, and it's scary. It is. It's scary to think if they don't somehow figure something out. Could they be a 1 or a 2 and done and out of the playoffs? Us Eagles fans will have to deal with.
You just can't turn it on. Sorry.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's him. I think it's the line now with a week off and this line coming back, and I think we're going to get Lane Johnson back for the playoffs.
And an offensive coordinator who like goes away from the run game. It's hard to get going when you go away from the run. Like it's hard for. I mean, if you're not running the ball, it's hard to get going, right? And then you're behind the sticks, like we talked about. 3rd and 12, 2nd and 12. You're forced to pass the ball at that point.
Yeah.
You know, we all said at the beginning of the year that we expected this Saquon to have a fallback year. You know, and we all kind of expected it. You know,
but not to this extent.
Yeah,
but
they still have 11, almost 1,200 yards. But
when they get away from running the football consistently, they get themselves in trouble. Now going into the playoffs, you got to empty the tank. You got to throw the kitchen sink at everybody. You use Shipley, you use Tank Bigsby, you use Saquon. You keep everybody fresh. It's all about rotation, keeping guys healthy. And again, I just looked it up again. I looked at the Eagles schedule. I was going through the games. When the Eagles get away from running the football and they try and get too cute, they get themselves in trouble. And that's where you start second guessing everything.
Yes, sir. Well, look, guys, in our virtual green room is our guest tonight, Sports Illustrated beat writer Ed Kracz joining us. Ed, thanks for hopping on the show with us, brother.
Hey, guys. Yeah, my pleasure. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year.
No,
Same to you. Happy New Year, Ed. I'm gonna. The show has been going for 17 minutes now. For 17 minutes, we've been talking about sitting starters and not sitting starters. Where does Ed Kracz sit on that fence of do you play your starters week 18? Do you rest your starters? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I started the week thinking that they should play their starters and go for the number 2 seed. But then after spending every day in the locker room talking to the players, every one of them that I talked to, maybe except Barkley, they thought the rest. They could use the rest, especially the linemen. Talking to Jordan Mailata, he said, we're banged up. And I think you saw that all year long. I mean, only him and Steen were the only 2 players to play every game. He said, everybody on the offensive line is struggling with something. We could use the rest. He said that after they clinched the division against the Commanders. He said it again in the week leading up. Some of the defensive players said, rest would help us. So I kind of came around thinking, all right, rest it is, and you let the chips fall where they may. They may not win the 2 seed, but maybe rest is better. If the players think they need to give their body a break, you look at the season. I mean, first of all, they played 21 games last year, tied the most for any other team that they played. Short off season surgeries. Cam Jurgens had it. Landon Dickerson had it. And then you come back into the season and the grind starts again. It's a long season. You think they reported in the middle of July to camp, and here we are in early January, and they're still playing. So if they win, they're going to be playing for another month. So a little bit of rest at this point. I kind of came around on it. The beginning of the week, I'm thinking, they should play the starters. But after being in the locker room, talking to the guys, I think rest was the best course of action. Now it looks like it could backfire. And Sirianni may never live that down, but, so be it. I think he made the right call, knowing that team better than I certainly do, even though I was in there talking to these guys. He knows them better than any of us. And if he felt they needed to rest to gear up for another month of a season potentially, then that's, that was the right way to roll. It looks bad that, they could have had the 2 seed, but I don't disagree with the decision.
Okay. It's with all due respect, they still almost pulled the game out. It was a 1-score game, so it's just like I said, the chips didn't fall that way. Going into the playoffs, Ed, do you trust this coaching staff to make the necessary adjustments for a playoff environment? Because I think it's as everybody who's sitting here knows. This ratchets up another level or 2 from the regular season, and are we trusting the OC? Are we trusting Sirianni backing him up to make these right decisions?
Well, I mean, I guess the advantage they have is they did this last year. I mean, obviously the OC was different. Kellen Moore, the offensive line was playing better. This was Saquon Barkley putting them over the top. We haven't had that this year. And I was listening to you guys for a few minutes before I came on, and I don't have a lot of trust in Kevin Patullo. They do go away from the run more than you'd like to see. They just, for some reason, and it's been all season long. It just wasn't on Sunday against the Commanders. I mean, the Eagles threw 14 straight passes after the game was tied 17-all, including the first 3 passes after they got the ball back after the Commanders tied it, and they didn't get a first down. They punted it away. Commanders got it again, and they went right down and scored. So I understand they have to throw a little bit at that point. But still, you can't just forget about the running game. Tank Bigsby's averaging, more almost 5 yards a carry. You give it to him in that situation, maybe he breaks one for 30, 40 yards. But for some reason, Kevin Patullo does not stick with the run game enough for me. Even though it's struggling and it might be picking up 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, or -1. You still have to try to run the football. And I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to do it. Now, that said, I think maybe Jalen Hurts gets his legs a little bit more involved. I think the Eagles' plan all year was for Hurts to kind of not use his legs as much, because we've seen Hurts get hurt at the end of the last couple of seasons. He has a shoulder injury, gets slammed on it in Chicago late in the season. He has a concussion. He had an ankle injury going against Tampa a few years ago. So they wanted to get him through the season healthy, and they did that. And they did it by, not putting him in harm's way in the run game as much as they have done in the past. And now I think maybe someone said you have to empty the tank. And, I'm not advocating for them to play Tank or Shipley. I think you go with Barkley and you go with Hurts in the run game. And those are the 2 studs, and you need to play Hurts more in the run game, because it's one or done at this point. So you have to empty the tank and let Hurts run the football more than he has through the regular season.
So you're looking at it as Jalen more design run play calling for him, kind of going into the playoffs.
I am, and maybe a little more RPO action, but I think you have to put some fear into, first off, the 49ers defense that, hey, we have to respect Jalen Hurts' legs because he can beat us. We haven't seen that all year, and now here they come out and they're running 2-3 times in the first quarter with Jalen Hurts. Then all of a sudden you got to start paying closer attention to him. And then if they win, then you go into the next game and the team looks at it and says, okay, they're using Hurts more in the run game. And I think that's what you need to do. I think he doesn't seem as fast when he's running the football as he did 5 years ago when he, in his first year as a starter, but that's natural. I mean, he's 27 years old. He's not going to be able to run the ball like he has forever. We see Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, kind of slowing down with the run too a little bit. It's great for picking up short yardages and scramble plays, but I think Hurts can still get on the edge and be dangerous in an RPO style approach.
No, I totally agree with that. Absolutely. I would love to see Jalen use the legs a little more. I'm glad they got him through the season, like you said, to your point, healthy. That has been a major problem. So yeah, just take the gloves off and let and go for it.
It's almost like a movie script. All year long you're looking at this. I don't want to say one-dimensional, but definitely not utilizing avenues that you used in prior seasons. It's almost like a movie script. And then all of a sudden, in the playoffs, you come bursting out with the look of Jalen Hurts of old. I would love it. I would love to see it. I hope you're right.
Yeah, we'll see. But I think that's kind of what they need to do. I'm sorry, Fuge. What's that?
No, go ahead. No, continue.
No, I was just saying I think that's what they really need to have happen, is to get Hurts a little bit more involved, make the defense respect him in the run game a little bit more than maybe some teams have already this year.
On the defensive side of the ball, do you know the status of Nakobe Dean this week?
I think he'll be fine. I mean, unless your leg's falling off or, you're concussed, whatever, it's, any game could be your last. So any player on any team, no matter how banged up, is going to try to answer the bell. And my understanding of the Nakobe injury when it happened was it was a hamstring. It was just kind of a precautionary thing. But you know how hamstrings are. You could, soft tissue injury, you could pull that thing. So they sat him, 2 weeks now? It'll be 3 weeks. come Sunday, I think he'll play. I think he'll be fine. But it's nice to have that insurance policy of Jihad Campbell back there. Is he as good as Nakobe or his experience? No, not yet. But he's certainly, worthy of the first round pick they spent on him. He's only going to get better. But I think Nakobe will play.
Would you say, as far as Lane Johnson, he's healed from that Liz Frank sprain?
Yeah, I think Lane will be fine as well. Again, he's who knows how many games he has left in his career, so he's going to try to empty the tank. I keep saying empty the tank. I heard that. That's like the catchphrase now. Someone said that, and that's all I'm thinking about is emptying the tank. But I think Lane, I think he'll be okay. He's missed, 7 games, I think, in a row. I think it was middle of October that he hurt the ankle or the foot. I think he'll be ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on this one because I hear you talk about using Jalen in the run game more. There has been a multitude of quarterbacks who have gotten hurt running the football. That's why I said you empty the tank, you use Saquon, you use Shipley, you use Tank Bisbee, changes the pace, keep him fresh. So I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on that one. I just think that, Jalen's one hit away, or RPO, you just get hit the right way. He can get knocked out of the game. I don't think I would use him that much in the run game, to be honest with you.
Well, they haven't used Shipley much in the run game. I don't know why you're high on Shipley. I don't think he adds anything really to the offense. I don't think he catches the ball that well. I think it's kind of been a step back year for Shipley. Bigsby, on the other hand, I might use him more, but for some reason they haven't done that. I mean, obviously he had a good game on Sunday, but he just doesn't get as many carries as he probably should. He's more the relief for Barkley. When Barkley needs a breather, they bring Bigsby in. So I could see maybe using Bigsby more. But listen, now's the time. If you're going to get hurt, you get hurt. I mean, that's the way it goes. You get hurt in the pocket too if you're a quarterback. But I would, listen, it's your backs are against the wall. Every team's backs against the wall. You got to fight out. You got to come out swinging, and you got to do what you do best. And to me, what the Eagles do best is they run the ball with that +1 in the backfield being Jalen Hurts. We'll see if they take that approach. If he gets hurt, then you throw in Tanner McKee, who played, every single snap on Sunday, looked like the backup that he is. I think, not having reps since last year in Week 18 when he started against the Giants kind of showed itself a little bit. But you hope that maybe if Hurts does get hurt, then you bring in McKee, and maybe this game on Sunday will have helped him kind of work out some of the kinks and the rust from not playing much.
Why haven't they used A.J. Dillon all year?
You've read my mind, Ryan.
Yeah, just the odd man out. They drafted Shipley. They brought in Bigsby. They gave up a 5th rounder and a 6th rounder for Bigsby. So, you're going to try to use him. Dillon they signed as a free agent. And how many running backs do you really need? I mean, they didn't get Shipley many carries. They barely got Bigsby any carries. So, how many carries is Dillon going to have to impact the game? 3, 4, maybe. Saquon Barkley's the bell cow. I mean, he's the guy, and not many carries to go around for the other guys, no matter who it is.
Right.
Look at Kenny Gainwell last year. How many? He was a good 3rd down back, good coming out of the backfield, pretty decent when they gave him the ball to run, but he didn't have many carries. He goes to Pittsburgh, and he's named the team MVP by his teammates. So,
I was going to say, Pittsburgh loves him.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh loves him.
His teammates named him their MVP. So. With Saquon here, it's just there's not enough carries to go around. He's going to get them, and as he should. I mean, the guy is potential Hall of Famer.
Well, even going back to the Jalen running point, even if they don't have designed runs for him, when the pocket breaks down, I know he's still looking downfield, but at that point, that's what I think where he can use his legs. Keep looking downfield, maybe and then use his legs to maneuver when nothing's open. But it seems to be a lot of cases. I think Tom Brady said something about it when the last game, whatever game it was, in man coverage, our receivers are stopping. Goddard, he made a point like Goddard ran the hook in the man and then stopped. So is that? I guess that's a question. Is that play calling or is that coaching to tell these guys, like, in man coverage, you can't stop when you're route.
Finish your route.
You have to. Well, even if you're running a hook, but you're in man coverage, you can't just stop. Hook. If it's not there, move to another zone, move around to give Jalen a chance to throw you the ball. You know.
Yeah, I mean, sure. That's certainly a good point. Got to keep moving through your route, but then you also have that clock in your head if you're the quarterback. And I never played quarterback, so I don't know how that works. But you have to have a clock in your head, and this line again isn't the same line. You might not have all that time to kind of move around, and he's done a good job of that. I thought he threw a good ball to AJ Brown in that game against Buffalo. It was 3rd and 10 or something like that. He stepped up, went right. I mean, he does a good job of moving around in the pocket, but a lot of times when a play breaks down, guys, maybe they do stand around and just kind of wait for Jalen, see what he's going to do. Is he going to start running? Do I need to start blocking? Right. Maybe they could communicate that a little bit better, but I think he does a good job moving around, but you have to be wary of when your protection's breaking down, and you have to either decide you're going to run or you're going to stay behind the line and try to keep your eyes downfield and see who breaks free. Once that happens, what is that, a scramble drill or whatever they call that?
Right.
Fire drill. I mean, you have a couple different options, but you can't stand back there for 5-6 seconds and wait for guys to just keep running around until they get open and then throw them the ball. I don't think it works quite like that. But I understand what you're saying.
So Ed, would a playoff win, regardless of what it looked like against the Niners this Sunday, would that ease some of the frustrations that the fans have had over the last 5, 6, 7 games of the season? In your opinion, I know you've been doing this a long time. You've been around this fan base and this team a long time, so you kind of know the mentality of what you're dealing with here. Would a first round win over the Niners, regardless of what it looked like, put some of this fan base at ease?
Well, Tom, what do you think? I mean, you've been around this fan base, right? I mean, I say no. I mean, I think the Eagles fans, it's Super Bowl or bust, right? I mean, Doug Peterson said it when they won the Super Bowl in 2017. This should be the new norm. And I think that's what it's become. I mean, it took a little while, and it took Nick Sirianni to come in and do it, but they've been to 2 out of the last 3 Super Bowls. I mean, I think fans want to go back to the Super Bowl. One win in the playoffs against the 49ers, I don't think they're going to be happy with that. They're still going to want Kevin Patullo fired, and maybe he does get fired. They got to go to the Super Bowl. And then when they get to the Super Bowl, they better win. That's the only way Eagles fans are going to be happy. I think you know that.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. I know it would just drive my angst up more. I watch the game like a lot of psycho Philadelphia Eagles fans that I know. I get once playoffs hit. So do I feel like, is everybody like me? That's why I figured I'd ask you that one.
I think so. I mean, honestly, I really do. I mean, and the Eagles have, they've given them good reason to have those expectations. This is the best sustained success the Eagles have had in their history. Yep, I mean, they've made it to the playoffs 8 out of the last 9 years. They've been to 3 Super Bowls in that time. The expectation is to get to the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl, because that's what they've done over the last decade. So, yeah, I just think that's what everybody expects. It's not easy to do. We saw them struggle to do that this year. Thank goodness the division stinks. There's not a team over 500 in it other than the Eagles. That helped. But, they should win the Super Bowl. Warts and all, they need to win the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I scrolled through the headlines this morning over at NBC Sports. Reuben Frank, I love Reuben's work. There was a quote in one of the headlines that says, "Despite their flaws, the Eagles are capable of beating anyone in the postseason." Do you see anybody that the Eagles couldn't win or against at this point?
I thought the best team coming into the year in the NFC was going to be the Rams, just based on their MVP quarterback. He's been doing it forever. I love their young defense. They had Puka Nacua,
that guy,
Adams. They add to the mix. I mean, I thought they had the best team. Now they've stumbled of late. I know Devontae Adams has been out of the lineup, but I still think the Rams, it's not an easy road for them. They have to win 3 games on the road to to get to the Super Bowl. That's tough to do. I can't even remember the last time a team did that. If any team did that, I'm sure somebody did. But
maybe the Giants when they were.
I was going to say, yeah, I think maybe the Giants did that
when they went and beat the Patriots.
Right. When they played the Patriots. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the Giants. But anyway, yeah, I lost my train of thought. I think that the Eagles and the Rams. Listen, the Eagles are going to be a tough out, in my opinion, because they know how to win. They're so tough to beat when they put their mind to it, and Jalen Hurts is a big reason for that. If Jalen Hurts needs 5 yards on a run and he scrambles, and he's going to get 6. He's not going to get stopped short. He's going to put his head down, and he's going to get that yard that he needs to get the first down. And that's the point of the season we're in. Is you have to make every play count. And the Eagles know how to do that better than most teams that are still alive. But that said, I'm not sold on the Seahawks. Sam Darnold, I don't think he's won a playoff game. Excuse me. Who else are we talking about here? The Packers. Eagles already beat them. 49ers are going to be tough. I think that there's the potential that whoever wins this game could go to the Super Bowl, to be honest with you.
Kind of had that feeling myself. I don't disagree with you there, Ed. Mike, you got anything else for Ed before I hit him with my last question?
I was going to ask Ed, who do you like coming out of the AFC? I mean, it's with no Chiefs this year. I mean, it's pretty much wide open.
Yeah, I think. Gosh, I mean, I love Denver's defense. I like the fact that they have the home field advantage. Mile High is a tough place to play with the playing at altitude. You need the oxygen tanks to kind of recover. But I just think it has to be Buffalo's year. It has to be Josh Allen's year. Even though, what are they, the 6th seed, I think, and they go to Jacksonville. Again, I think the Bills are a playoff-tested team. They see the Chiefs aren't there. They see that the avenue to the Super Bowl without Mahomes standing in their way is there. And I just think it's going to be their year. I think they're going to get there behind Josh Allen. Their defense is a little suspect. Every team that's left has flaws. And that's why it's so wide open. I mean, in both conferences, I can't remember a season being this wide open in the AFC and the NFC. So, my pick in the AFC would be the Bills, and I would love to see a Bills-Eagles rematch. I thought that was a fun game, even though, the Eagles' offense was awful in the second half. That was a fun game to watch. And
were you out in that rain, or were you up in the?
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, I wasn't. The press box for sure. But I just think that those two teams could meet in the Super Bowl, and it would be a fun rematch.
Last couple Eagles Bills matchups have been real fun games to watch.
That's right. Yeah, the overtime game here, 2 years ago, where Hurts won it with a walk-off 12-yard touchdown run. But I just think the Bills, they may not be the best team in the AFC. I like the Broncos a lot. But Bo Nix, a guy that has one playoff game under his belt, but it's experience. He knows what it's like in the playoffs now. That defense and that home field are going to make them pretty tough, I think.
Well, just like you're saying about the Bills, I mean, they got the most experience under their belt. No Kansas City standing in their way now.
I think that matters at this time of year. I really do. I think you have to experience it and then build on that. We saw Hurts' first playoff game was in Tampa, back 2021, I guess. Yeah, and he lost, but he learned. And I remember him coming into the interview room after the game with a boot on his foot, and then he needed off-season surgery. So, but I think you have to kind of get there to know what it's like, to feel the pressure, to feel like every single play matters before you can launch into something. Now, Patrick Mahomes may have, I think he might have lost the game early in his playoff career, but I was looking at his record tonight in the playoffs. He's 17-4 in the playoffs. That's crazy. Hurts is 6-3. Stafford's 5-5. I mean, Hurts has probably the best record of any of these quarterbacks in the playoffs at 6-3. So, I think that helps. I think that matters at this time of year.
Yeah, I would think so. Ed, before we get out of here, one, are you a predictions guy? And two, if so, can you give us what you're who you're thinking comes out of here Sunday with the win?
I was asked that. I was on a show earlier today. I went with the Eagles 23-17. I think it's going to come down. It's going to be a tight game throughout. I think the defenses are both good. I was surprised that the 49ers only scored 3 points with this resident genius coach of Kyle Shanahan. The offensive mastermind of the league only scores 3 points against the Seattle defense. Shocking to me, really, especially with the number 1 seed at stake. So I don't think it'll be that high scoring of a game. 23-17 might be a little high scoring, but I think the Eagles find a way to win this game. It's going to be a physical battle. You hope everybody comes out of it healthy and they can answer the bell the following weekend against either the Bears in Chicago or, I guess, the Packers. If the Packers beat the Bears, the Packers come back here to Philly like they started the playoffs last year. Here. So, but I think the Eagles win. That's my prediction.
All right.
Don't bet the house on it. Don't bet the cars on it.
We won't. We won't. We definitely won't do that. But Ed, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure, guys.
Thanks, Ed. Have a good one.
See ya.
Take care.
All right, real quick, guys. Before we kind of get back into this, I want to jump back over here to the text board here. Mike Jackson checking back in. Does anybody think Kevin Patullo will return for next season? That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. Hells to the no. If he's back, dude, why?
I can't. Even if they win the Super Bowl, I can't see him coming back. I just can't see it.
Yeah. No. If they win the Super Bowl, somebody else will poach him, and
somebody will poach him. Yeah.
We'll say, "See you later." We'll be happy.
From what I hear, there's already teams looking at him down here to Brian Garrity. Even during the Super Bowl last year, KC defense game plan to stop Saquon, we still gave him 25 carries. Absolutely, that's to most points of run the ball. Norm checking in now. Norm is referring to AJ Dillon. He said the guy that said would be the 1-2 punch in the offseason by us. Yes, that was prior to them bringing Bigsby in. So we were under that impression. Norm and I were watching the game together yesterday, and we saw, and we were talking for like a 10-minute span of how we did not see A.J. Dillon, and then all of a sudden, there he is. And we're like, oh, my God, there he is. It's like they heard us.
Were you two guys getting along during the game?
Absolutely. Well, this team's irrelevant this year. It's not that big a deal. You know what I mean? Last year we were in the NFC Championship game, and then the Eagles also turned them irrelevant really quick in that game. But anyway, I don't want to get off topic here.
They got a lot of money. They still got a lot of money.
So Norm writes, "Hey Ryan, go Chiefs." So that's
you guys are sitting together on the sofa together.
Yes,
to the NFL.
And then we asked, do we think that the Eagles, from Reuben Frank's quote I was reading today, despite their flaws, the Eagles are capable of beating anyone in the NFC. And then we asked, are you afraid of anyone? And then Norm writes, everyone in the NFC. It's real nice.
I did see that yesterday. Reuben Frank thinks the Eagles could beat anyone in the NFC, but he also said
they could lose to anyone in the NFC.
Exactly. Outside of the Packers.
Let's get back to that Kevin Patullo guy. No adjustments.
Who?
None. I'm just going to pass the ball more, and that'll fix the problem. Run the ball, baby. Run the ball.
Pound the rock. Empty the tank, as Ryan said. That now you got now. Don't be surprised if you read an Ed Kracz article tomorrow and empty the tank is in that article, Ryan. Well, that's all you, brother.
Al, will you be in attendance Sunday?
I have tickets. I have to figure out. My son Adrian has a wrestling tournament, and I have to figure out timing. But if I can get my butt down there by 4:30, yes, I will be in attendance.
Oh, I will be there, and everybody watching this show better pass the damn message on. The whole link ought to be chanting, "Run the ball." We did it with Andy Reid.
I thought you meant pass the message on. I thought you meant pass the message on that you will be down there. It's like just to steer clear of the terror that is Mike Fuji.
Every Eagles fan in that stadium better chant, "Run the ball."
I'm down for that.
You start it, Fuji. You got to start it.
Patullo, Let's get it. Get your head out of your ass.
I think we've already done the Fire Patullo chant, but I don't think we've done the run the ball yet.
So
damn fucking ball. Pardon my language.
So a couple of months
you edit
back.
that out?
No, absolutely not. So a couple of months back, Alan was telling me that he was showed me some stuff with this Chat GPT stuff, and I'm gonna always go back to you, Alan, on this. So every week now, I pose my own questions.
I didn't use
it. I do my own show prep, but I'll type into Chat GPT questions for a Philadelphia sports talk show on, and then I'll put in, Eagles playoffs, end the season, and stuff like that. And so one of the questions that Chat GPT posed was, are the Eagles surviving or are they circling the drain? Which I thought was a pretty cool question. It's one of the reasons I made a note of it to bring it up. So, Fuge, I'll start with you. Are the Eagles surviving this week, or are they circling the drain against these 49ers?
Surviving.
All right. We'll get into predictions before we get out of here. And again, I just want to thank Ed Kracz from Sports Illustrated for coming on. Ed had some really good insight. Now, Ryan, I know that you disagreed with him on Hurts having more of a role in a running role. I personally would love to see that, because I think that was one of the bigger keys to some of the success that they've had over the last couple of playoff runs, was the threat of Hurts, with his legs. And we saw in the Donovan McNabb era, when McNabb stopped using his legs on purpose to prove that he could be a pocket quarterback, the offense never really looked the same as that when you had that threat there of him running. Alan, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. But, I think I got my point misconstrued with Ed. Like, when that pocket breaks down, Jalen has done a great job of getting out and keeping his eyes downfield to try to throw the ball. What I'm trying to get across, when that pocket breaks down and he gets out of that pocket, keep your eyes downfield, but you need to take the hell off. He needs to run instead of keeping and looking, then maybe throwing the ball away. Run. Get 4, 5, 6, 7 yards. Get as much as you can. I would love to see him use his legs more that way. Maybe a little less RPO type thing, but more of that nature. When, like, we saw it in Buffalo, he did a great job dancing around and getting out of those pressure situations in the pocket. He did a fabulous job doing that. But at that point, just go. Just run. Get a couple yards, get down, and just keep the chains moving, basically. I think we can do that, we're going to be okay. We need to keep ourselves out of second and long and third and long as best we can.
Now, Ryan, I like the rest of us, we all watch the league and we know about the league, but I feel like you have a more intimate knowledge of around the league than maybe I do, or some of the rest of us. What are you looking at the NFC? We'll do the NFC right now. Looking at the NFC, what teams make you go, okay, these guys have a legitimate chance to move on in the playoffs and potentially the Super Bowl?
No.
Excuse me.
They all have their flaws. Look, we look at the Philadelphia-San Francisco game. Neither offenses are spectacular. San Francisco's defense is suspect. Philadelphia's defense is on point. They'll be at home. I'm not going to make any predictions right now. You look at the Rams-Panthers game. I know the Panthers are at home. I know they're 8-9. The Rams look gangbusters for the first 2/3 of the season, but for the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've shown little cracks, like here and there. And then you look at what's the other one I'm thinking of?
Green Bay.
Green Bay and Chicago. They split. This is the third time they're playing in 4 weeks. So I get it. Chicago's at home. They look like shit against Detroit. Yes, they battled back. You don't know what you're getting with Green Bay. They're banged up. Who's going to start at quarterback? Are they going to stick with Malik Willis? Are they going to stick with Malik Willis? Are they going to go back to Jordan Love? You just don't know. It's so wide open in both the NFC and the AFC. I don't think any team from either conference has a distinct advantage.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, it's like Ed said. I mean, really, besides, Kansas City making their run and, New England all those years, I mean, it's wide open.
Now, do you think Buffalo, because of their experience, Ryan, that they do have the best shot?
Their run defense is horrible.
Yeah.
They come up against somebody that, look, Jacksonville's number one against the run. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to key on James Cook. And, Josh Allen can't do it all. So, and look, Jacksonville's proven. They went into Denver. They slapped the shit out of them. They beat Denver on their home turf. Now, it wasn't going to probably be 20 degrees. It was 60 degrees that day. But even in the AFC, everyone has their flaws. Houston, gangbusters defense, offense. Pittsburgh made it in. You don't know what you're getting with Pittsburgh. New England, they played I think it was the sixth easiest schedule in the Super Bowl era as far as like playoff teams making playoffs. So, and again, even Denver gangbusters defense, but their offense doesn't really. They don't excite you. And the Chargers, you don't know what you're getting with the Chargers. You don't. So, yeah.
Yeah, but if you were to go on both sides of the offense and the defense, is there one legitimate playoff team that is consistent in your eyes?
I think right now, and it'll surprise a lot of people, I think Jacksonville is the most well-rounded team in the playoffs right now. They can run the ball at you. They've got a great passing game if Trevor Lawrence doesn't make mistakes. That run defense is out of this world. Now, on the back end, they might be a little bit suspect, but they don't have to be right now. I just think overall, collectively, going into the playoffs, Jacksonville is the most complete team in the playoffs.
Now, there's something too, and Ed kind of touched on it. Over the last 2 seasons, the Eagles have played more games than anybody that's left.
Mm-hmm.
And they've, again with the rest, and to Ed's point, where in the beginning of the week, Fuge, he was kind of in line with what you were saying. You should play all your starters, and then after talking to a lot of these guys, and Fuge, I know your mentality is suck it up, button your chin strap, and get the hell out there. This is what you're getting paid to do. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete, but do you really think that this rest will serve them down the line?
No, when Ed mentioned that, it kind of shed a lot of light. I could see his point. He's in there talking to these guys, and these guys are all necked up. Going back to last season, especially you got Lane Johnson coming back, Cam Jurgens dealing with a back issue, Landon Dickerson with the MCL or the meniscus.
Backs are tough. Back issues are tough, man. They work on their own time schedule.
Backs, lower ankle injuries, foot injuries, things like that, dude. It takes forever. Those lower injuries, ankles and feet like that for an offensive lineman.
Well,
you could have a week and you're like, all right, cool, I think I'm back, and then one block and you're
right there. You're right there.
I think it all. I think going back, I think it all stems from this tush push. I mean, Kelsey said it best. I mean, you're in the center of that pile, trying to go as low as you can to get a touchdown, first down, whatever. I mean, that's thousands of pounds. People could say, "Oh no, well, hey, you know what? These guys start getting old, and you start getting low. Knees, ankles, whatever, backs." That takes a lot out of you being an offensive lineman. I don't care what anybody says.
Plus, they're offside all the time.
I mean, you can take it to the back and catch the damn thing.
It's only been called once or twice, Ryan. So not all the time, just once or twice.
Seriously, over time, though, with the tush push, I mean, it takes a toll on these guys up front.
Yeah. I'll go back to my Chiefs. They played 5 Super Bowls in 7 years. Those are long ass seasons. And even in the Super Bowl last year, they looked fucking tired. I'm sorry, pardon my French, but they were beat after that run that they had. You could just tell.
I had the same feeling. Like when the way the Eagles came out, they looked flat. They were not the Chiefs we were used to seeing by any stretch of the imagination. And I felt a lot of it had to do with the last, 2 or 3 years prior to that, for sure. And somewhere in the back of my mind, it's like, if the Eagles are fortunate enough to make it, are they going to look flat? Are they going to come out like that because of how the last, few seasons have gone? So, well, I guess we'll see. Look, I want to do predictions before we get out of here. Ryan, we'll make you exempt if you want to wait until Friday on your show, or however you want to do it.
I mean, I guess I can do it.
All right. Well, I'll start. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, I don't want to force you into anything.
What's that?
I'll start. He said
your arm.
Fuji likes twisting everybody's arm.
You want me to go now?
Nah.
Yeah, we'll start with our guest, Ryan. First off, Ryan, can you tell our viewers, when and what times you're on Cole County Entertainment here?
Mondays, it's usually 6 to 7, but I'm battling a little bit of a virus, so I did it from I did do it. What did I do? I did it from 7 to 8 tonight. Usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, early eating sports buffet with the Ginch from 6 to 7. On Tuesday, from 7 to 8, it will be Christ, I'm drawing a blank. It'll be 4 Down Territory. And then on Wednesday from 7 to 8, it is Student Body Right college football. I'm making my college football predictions on Wednesday. So my prediction.
Are you having a senior moment?
Yes, I'm having a senior moment. I'm getting old.
You said it.
Look, I would like to take San Francisco, but I think the deciding factor, I trust Philadelphia's defense at home a lot more than I trust San Francisco's defense on the road. Is it going to be an ass kicking? No. I'm going to go Philadelphia 24, San Francisco 17.
All right. Fuge, we'll kick it to you. What are you thinking there, Fuge, for this first round playoff game? Come back to Alan. I'm going to throw it to you.
All right. Defense wins this one. I'm with Ryan. I'm with Dave, Ed on this one. Defense wins it tight. 21-17 Birds.
Fuji, you want to go last? You want me to go?
I'll go with it. There's a comment from John Wagner.
Yeah, we'll jump on that before we get out of here.
No, I will go. Go ahead. You can make yours.
So I'm kind of in lockstep with Ed, with Ryan, with Alan. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think the Eagles are putting up, monster numbers, but I do like the Philadelphia Eagles 24-10 over the San Francisco 49ers. So Fuge, you made us wait for it.
23-19 Birds.
I like it. And real quick before we get out of here, John Wagner, a lot of fans were calling for Tanner to come in and play a few weeks ago. Now you got to see what it was really about, just to back up. So I'm gonna call plays or horrendous. I was at the game watching these horrible calls, how you can only need 2 yards on 3rd and 4th down and keep throwing the ball. Absolutely. I think the general consensus is you need to run the ball a lot more. I know that's how Ryan feels. So start Fuge when you're down there this weekend. And if Alan, if you're able to get in the house with your son's wrestling tournament, if you're still able to make it, start those run the ball chants. I want to hear them on the TV while I'm watching the game.
Where it stems from.
I absolutely know where it stems from. I want to hear them.
Alan, I'll be tailgating the same place, so let me know.
Yes, sir, I will. Well,
look, folks, thank everyone for tuning in. For Mike Fuji, for Alan Angiacavage, for our special guest, Ryan Neff. I'm Tom Kelly. This is Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. Go Bird.
The lights explode, Philly skies bruise the night. heavy, sharp as a fire.